They want you flinching, explaining, defending, bleeding emotions on command. That's how they own you, by making you dance to their rhythm, by pulling invisible strings you didn't even notice were attached. Every insult, every passive-aggressive jab, every fake smile designed to get under your skin is a test. And most men fail it. They take the bait, they argue, they prove they can be controlled. But if you want to never get angry, never get bothered again, you must step into a different league entirely. A place where your emotions are locked behind iron gates. This is Machiavellian calm, cold, calculated, masculine stillness. The kind of control that doesn't just protect you, but intimidates those who try to move you. This isn't about kindness or some fairy tale morality. This is about becoming a fortress without doors. People will poke, provoke, and prod you just to see if you'll crack. They want ownership of your emotions because they know when a man reacts, he gives away power. And when he gives away power, he becomes predictable. The first law is simple. You owe no one your reaction. Not your enemies, not your friends, not your family. Your silence must become a weapon. Your stillness, the language of power. Let them speak into the void while you remain unmoved. Let them guess, assume, and fear what you're thinking. Right now, I want you to burn this into your mind by doing one thing. Comment this phrase: I am the fortress. Not for me, for you. So the next time someone tries to drag you into emotional warfare, you remember, you don't step onto their battlefield, they step into yours. Number 1, the law of emotional economy. They will spend their lives trying to drain you. Every petty argument, every attention-seeking stunt, every fake crisis, it's all designed to pull energy from you. And here's the truth. Energy is power. The more they take from you, the weaker you become, the easier you are to control. A Machiavellian understands that emotions are currency. You don't give them away freely. You invest them only when there is a guaranteed return. Most men bankrupt themselves emotionally, ranting, arguing, chasing validation, while the truly powerful remain rich in focus, rich in control. The law of emotional economy is simple. You spend only on what strengthens your position. If the outcome doesn't bring you more leverage, more respect, or more resources, you stay silent. No explanation, no emotional fireworks, nothing. That's how you build an aura that people can't penetrate. Every time you refuse to be baited, you add another brick to your fortress. Every time you stay still while they thrash around trying to provoke you, you grow more untouchable. From now on, measure every response like a banker counting gold. And when someone tries to drag you into an emotional exchange, remember, if it costs you more than it gains, you walk away. Control isn't about being cold for no reason. It's about protecting the throne you've built. If you understand this, comment it now. I protect my throne. Let it be your new law. Number 2, the predator's patience. They mistake stillness for weakness. They think that because you're not rushing to respond, you're slow. They think that because you don't react to their little verbal jabs, you're incapable of fighting back. And that is the most fatal miscalculation they will ever make. The truth is, you've learned something they never will. Power doesn't belong to the one who strikes first. It belongs to the one who strikes last, and in the cleanest, most decisive way possible. Most people live in a state of constant reaction. Someone insults them, they answer instantly. Someone challenges them, they blurt out a defense. Someone provokes them, they explode. This is amateur behavior. The predator, the true Machiavellian operator, does not live in reaction mode. He lives in observation mode. He waits, he collects data, he allows the other person to reveal themselves completely before he makes a single move. Patience isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing everything at the exact moment when it will have the maximum impact. Imagine a sniper. The target is there, in sight, moving, breathing. The rookie would pull the trigger the second they saw the opportunity. The professional waits. They account for the wind, the distance, the movement. They let the target think they're safe. And only when everything is aligned, only then, Do they strike? One shot. No wasted effort. No chance for a counterattack. Now think about your own life. Every time you rush to answer an insult, every time you take the bait, every time you let anger drag you into their timing, you're firing before you're ready. You're showing your cards. You're proving you can be manipulated. You're making them believe they control the tempo of the game. And if they control the tempo, they control you. The predator's patience flips that entire dynamic. Instead of chasing the fight, you let the fight come to you. Instead of matching their pace, you slow the pace down until they can't stand it anymore. Because here's the secret: they want you flustered, they want you chasing, they want you explaining. But when you refuse to do that, you force them to fill the silence. And when they fill the silence, they talk too much, they reveal too much, they make mistakes. Always remember this: silence is the amplifier of truth. In stillness, lies start to sound louder. In stillness, insecurity starts to show. In stillness, desperation becomes obvious. That's why Machiavellian patience is so lethal. It's not just the absence of action, it's the creation of pressure. You're building a psychological cage around them without saying a word. And while they're pacing inside that cage, trying to figure out why you're not reacting, you're watching everything. You're cataloging their tone shifts, their body language changes, the inconsistencies in their words. You're building a psychological profile on them in real time. By the time you decide to move, you don't just have an attack, you have the exact attack that will end the conflict before it begins. Now, some will say, "But if I don't respond, they'll think they've won." Let them think that. The longer they think they've won, the more reckless they get. The more reckless they get, the more they give you. And when you finally decide to act, it won't be emotional, it will be surgical. A single statement, a single move, a single moment that cuts through all the noise and leaves them wondering how you dismantled them without ever breaking a sweat. This is why patience isn't passive, it's predatory. You are not avoiding the fight, you are ensuring the fight is fought on your terms, at your pace, and in a way where you cannot lose. You are building psychological high ground, and once you occupy that, you never have to descend into the mud with them. In the Machiavellian playbook, the man who controls the timing controls the outcome. You make them dance to your rhythm. You decide when the exchange begins and when it ends. And most importantly, you decide if it ever begins at all. Sometimes the most devastating victory is the one where they destroy themselves trying to provoke you. Your job is simply to hold position until that happens. This takes discipline. It takes the ability to resist the itch to respond right away. It takes the strength to let them think they're getting away with something. You must remember, every second you don't react is a second they are forced to keep performing, and performance under pressure always exposes weakness. Think about chess. The impatient player charges forward, sacrificing pieces just to feel like they're winning. The master sits back, moving with precision, forcing the opponent to overextend. By the time the trap closes, it's already too late for them to recover. That's not luck, that's the predator's patience in action. So when someone tries to provoke you, pause. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. Watch them. Listen for what they're not saying. Feel the desperation in their need for you to respond. You'll notice something. They're far more afraid of your silence than they are of your words, because your silence means they can't read you. And when they can't read you, they can't control you. This is how you become untouchable. You stop operating on their timing and you force them onto yours. You stop explaining yourself and let your presence speak for you. You stop trying to prove you're strong and instead, you are strong. Calm, silent, immovable. The predator doesn't waste energy chasing prey. The predator waits for the prey to wander into the kill zone. From now on, make this your law. You do not move until you decide it's time. You do not speak until you choose the words. You do not react until the reaction will guarantee you more power than you had before. And if there is no gain to be had, you walk away with the cold indifference of a man who knows he's already won by not playing. You will find that the less you react, the more control you gain. People will start to speak differently around you. They'll measure their words. They'll hesitate before they provoke you, because they know you're not like the rest. You're not a toy they can wind up and watch spin. You're a storm they can't predict, and unpredictability is the purest form of power. If you're ready to build this into your identity, if you're ready to become the man who moves last and always wins, then carve these words into your mind and type them right now in the comments. I move last. Make it public, make it permanent, make it who you are. Because in the end, the world doesn't reward the loudest man in the room. It rewards the one who says the least and still gets exactly what he wants. Number 3, emotional blackmail disarmament. They will try to chain you with emotions you didn't choose. They'll use guilt, pity, obligation, tools designed to pull you into compliance without you even realizing you've surrendered. Emotional blackmail is the oldest form of control, and it works on almost everyone because most people are trained from childhood to fear disapproval and crave acceptance. But you, if you're going to be untouchable, you must learn to sever those chains without hesitation. Here's the first truth. Guilt is an illusion. It is a fabricated debt someone wants you to believe you owe. They will frame you as ungrateful, selfish, heartless, all to trigger your instinct to prove them wrong. The second you try to prove them wrong, you've already lost. Why? Because you've stepped into their frame. You've accepted their reality. And in their reality, they hold the leash. A Machiavellian mind never accepts the premise without inspection. You ask, who benefits if I obey this feeling? Who gains power if I fold? That question alone is enough to expose 90% of emotional traps. The moment you see that the hurt feelings or disappointment is just a strategic move, the spell breaks. They don't actually need you to feel bad. They need you to comply. And compliance is what you deny. When they throw a guilt trip, you meet it with neutrality. No emotional counterattack, no defensive monologue, no apology you don't mean. You strip the bait of its flavor. You answer in a tone so even, so unshaken, it robs the blackmail of its power. I see how you feel is often enough. It acknowledges without surrender. It shows you're aware, but you're not bending. When they use pity, it's the same principle. You do not reward weakness with obedience. You can recognize suffering without making it your burden to fix. Especially when that suffering is exaggerated for your manipulation, you must be able to see the difference between genuine need and engineered vulnerability. One deserves compassion, the other deserves silence. And when they try to make you feel obligated, whether it's family, a partner, a friend, you remind yourself, obligation without consent is slavery. You choose what you give, when you give, and to whom. If they demand it, it's no longer a gift, it's a tax, and no king pays taxes to those beneath him. This doesn't mean you become heartless for sport. It means you become immune to engineered emotion. You decide what gets through your gates. You decide whose pain earns your energy. And you decide whose words dissolve against your walls like water on stone. Your calm refusal will make manipulators furious. They'll call you cold. They'll call you detached. They'll call you dangerous. And they'll be right. Coldness is control. Detachment is clarity. Danger is the natural aura of someone who cannot be moved by cheap tricks. If you understand this, if you're ready to end the era of people pulling your strings, comment this now. My emotions are mine. Let the world know you've taken them back. Number 4, the art of psychological distance. They will tell you that closeness is trust, that vulnerability is strength, that you should let people in if you want real relationships. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Every person you let in gains a map of your weaknesses, and most will use it when it serves them. Psychological distance is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. It is the reason kings have gates, warriors have armor, and generals have walls. A Machiavellian mind knows this. The closer someone gets to your inner circle, the more dangerous they become if they turn. History is littered with betrayals from friends, lovers, and allies who once swore loyalty. Why? Because closeness creates opportunity, and opportunity corrupts. You cannot stop human nature, you can only control access. Psychological distance means this: you can be friendly without being exposed. You can show warmth without opening the vault. You can stand shoulder to shoulder with someone and still keep the most important parts of yourself locked behind iron doors. It's a discipline of boundaries. You give enough to build connection, but never enough for someone to build a weapon against you. People will push to get deeper into your mind. They will test the gates with personal questions, emotional demands, and subtle invasions of privacy. They'll frame it as intimacy. They'll say, "If you trust me, you'll tell me everything." But the powerful man understands trust is not given in bulk. It is rationed in drops, and some people never get more than a drop. Distance creates mystery, mystery creates respect, and respect creates leverage. The less they know about you, the more they have to guess, and when they're guessing, they can't predict you. When they can't predict you, they can't control you. This doesn't mean living as a ghost. It means living as a fortress with windows you open when you choose. The public may see the walls. A select few may see the courtyard. But only you see the throne room. When you master this, something powerful happens. Your relationships change. People treat you differently. They watch their words around you. They respect your space. They sense the weight of your boundaries. And here's the paradox. They'll value your attention more because they know it's rare. Always remember, the man who is too available loses value. The man who is too open loses control. And the man with no walls is a man waiting to be conquered. Psychological distance ensures that never happens. If you're ready to own your space, protect your gates, and keep your throne room yours alone, comment this now: "I guard my kingdom." Because once you master distance, you stop being a piece on someone else's board and you become the one who moves the pieces. Number 5, controlled aggression. They think aggression is about noise, speed, and chaos. They think the most dangerous man in the room is the one who shouts the loudest, moves the fastest, and throws the first punch. That's the illusion of strength. That's the display for the crowd. But the truth? The most dangerous man is the one you don't see coming until it's already too late. He doesn't rush. He doesn't advertise. He holds back 90% of his power until the exact moment it will destroy everything in front of him. Controlled aggression isn't rage, it's precision violence. In the world of Machiavellian thinking, the first man to strike is rarely the man who wins. Why? Because the first man to strike reveals his intentions, his position, and his limits. He exposes himself in the hope of intimidation. But intimidation is temporary, strategy is permanent. When you learn to control your aggression, you take your power off display and lock it away, hidden behind calm eyes and an even tone. The world sees a still lake. Only you know about the depth beneath it. Uncontrolled aggression is sloppy. It wastes energy. It burns you out before the real fight has even begun. Think about a man who screams during an argument. He's showing desperation, not dominance. He's giving away all his ammunition up front. And when his emotional high runs out, he's left exposed. Controlled aggression flips the script. You don't show your hand until you've already decided exactly how and when to win. This is the law. Never strike in the heat of impulse. Heat clouds judgment. Heat makes you sloppy. The more you feel the surge of anger rising, the more you must slow your breathing, slow your thoughts, and slow your body. You let the adrenaline pass. You let the emotions burn themselves out. And in the ashes, you see with absolute clarity what needs to be done. That clarity is your weapon. Think of a coiled snake. It doesn't lunge at the first movement in the grass. It waits, it watches, it measures the target's size, distance, and direction. And when it strikes, there's no warning, just an instant, lethal precision. That's controlled aggression. You can feel the fire inside you, but you don't unleash it until the perfect opening appears. And when it does, you hit with everything you've stored. This discipline has two psychological effects on the world around you. First, it makes you unpredictable. People can't figure out what triggers you. They can't bait you into losing control because you refuse to show them the pattern. Second, it builds a reputation. People start to whisper about the times you did act, the way it was decisive, clean, and final. They realize that provoking you isn't just risky, it's dangerous. And here's the deeper truth. They'll start to fear your silence more than your words. Words can be measured. Silence can't. Silence leaves them guessing whether you're ignoring them or planning something. The longer they sit in that uncertainty, the more their nerves begin to fray. In a Machiavellian game, that fraying is power. It's control without a single movement. Controlled aggression also protects you from strategic traps. Most confrontations are designed to get you to overreact so they can play the victim or shift the blame. The one who explodes first becomes the villain in the story, no matter what led up to it. By holding back, you deny them the evidence they need to use against you. Instead, you let them escalate until their own behavior condemns them. And if you decide to strike, you do it in a way that appears not as an outburst, but as a measured, justified action. Understand this. When you strike, it must be calculated. Emotional aggression burns hot but fades fast. It wins the moment but loses the war. Calculated aggression burns slow but cuts deep. It wins the war in a single move. This is why kings rarely go to war over insults. They wait for a reason so justified that when they move, the entire world nods in agreement. Controlled aggression means you choose your battles with ruthless selectivity. You let petty provocations pass because they don't matter. You let fools talk because their words have no weight. You conserve your energy for the moments that matter, moments where the payoff is worth the fire you unleash. And when that moment comes, you don't hesitate. You don't half measure. You make your move with the full force of everything you've been holding back. To train this, you must first master the pause. The pause is the space between stimulus and response where all your power lives. Someone insults you. Pause. Someone challenges you. Pause. Someone tries to humiliate you. Pause. In that pause, you ask yourself, if I respond now, what do I gain? What do I lose? If the gain isn't significant, you don't respond at all. That silence is a strike in itself. And when you do decide to move, you move with intent. Every word, every action is deliberate. No wasted motion, no wasted breath. You don't need to shout, you don't need to explain. You simply do what needs to be done, and then you stop. That abrupt stop is as powerful as the action itself. It tells the world, I'm done because I choose to be, not because you made me. Controlled aggression is not weakness. It's the highest form of strength. It takes far more discipline to hold back than it does to lash out. It takes far more intelligence to wait for the right moment than it does to grab the first one that appears. The weak man reacts instantly because he's afraid of looking weak. The strong man waits because he knows he's already strong. This is why the predator always wins against the prey. The prey runs at the first sign of danger. The predator holds still until it can't miss. You must think the same way. When you know you can end something in one clean move, you're not in a hurry, and when you're not in a hurry, you're dangerous. So from this point forward, stop scattering your strength in pointless exchanges. Let people wonder what you're capable of. Let them talk. Let them imagine. Because imagination is always more terrifying than reality. The moment they start thinking, what would happen if he finally snapped? You've already won half the battle without lifting a finger. And when the day comes where you decide it's worth it, when the target, the timing, and the reason all align, you unleash everything you've been holding. Not wild, not messy, precise. Like the sniper who's been motionless for hours, you take the shot and walk away before they even realize they're done. That is the art. That is the power. If you understand this, if you're ready to stop being reactive and start being lethal on your own terms, type this in the comments right now. I strike on my terms. Make it public so every time you see it, you remember you don't dance to their music, they bleed to yours. Because the world does not fear the man who shouts, it fears the man who waits. Number 6, the mask of indifference. They watch your face like a map. Every micro-expression, every flicker in your eyes, every shift in your jaw, they're searching for landmarks that lead them straight to your mind. They want to know when they've hurt you. They want to know when they've pleased you. They want to know where your boundaries lie so they can push, manipulate, or control them. The problem for most men is this: they give away the entire map without realizing it. And once someone has your map, they know where to strike. The mask of indifference is your answer to that problem. It's the permanent barrier between your inner state and the world's attempts to read you. It's a deliberate choice to reveal nothing unless you choose to. Not less. Nothing. It is the art of erasing the tells, neutralizing the signals, and becoming so unreadable that even the most observant manipulator is left guessing in the dark. In the Machiavellian mindset, information is leverage, and the most personal, sensitive form of information is your emotional state in any given moment. Show them joy, and they know what pleases you. Show them irritation, and they know what provokes you. Show them worry, and they know where your fears live. Once that's exposed, they don't need brute force to move you. They just need to push the right buttons. The mask removes those buttons from their reach entirely. Understand this. The mask of indifference is not about feeling nothing. It's about showing nothing. Inside, you can be calculating, assessing, even quietly furious. But outside, you are the same as always. Calm, level, controlled. This is the discipline of kings. It's the ability to play a game without letting anyone else know the score. Your neutrality creates doubt in the minds of others. The human brain craves feedback. When it doesn't get it, it becomes uncomfortable, and discomfort makes people talk more, act out more, and reveal more than they should. By giving them nothing, you put them under a psychological pressure they can't quite name. They begin projecting their fears and insecurities onto you. They start over-analyzing your silence, thinking, did I win? Did I lose? What is he planning? In many cases, their imagination becomes far more punishing than anything you could have said out loud. The mask also buys you time. In high-pressure situations, negotiations, confrontations, power plays, the first man to react usually reacts poorly. His expression betrays him before his words do. But when your face is a fortress, you have the space to observe, calculate, and plan. Others will reveal their hand out of impatience while you're still holding yours close to your chest. It's important to understand that the mask doesn't just protect, it projects. By wearing it, you can choose which emotions to display strategically. You can feign mild interest while feeling nothing. You can show patience while silently analyzing the angles. You can display irritation just to test their response. The mask allows you to weaponize the very thing you're controlling. And yes, people will try to break the mask. They will escalate. They will try louder insults, sharper jokes, more personal jabs. They will try to force you into defending yourself. Why? Because once they break your mask, they've proven to themselves and to others that you can be controlled. The ego trap is real here. Many men take the bait out of pride, thinking they're defending themselves. In reality, they're surrendering the very control they were trying to keep. You must resist this temptation. Your ego is not the mission. Your position is. Every second you keep the mask in place, their frustration grows. Every moment you don't take the bait, their performance becomes more erratic. And eventually, they will overstep. They will say too much, reveal too much, or behave in a way that discredits them entirely. Your mask will have done the work without you ever raising your voice. Mastering the mask requires daily discipline. Practice it in small situations first, moments when you'd normally smirk, frown, or flinch. Keep your expression neutral. Control your breathing. Let your eyes remain steady, your shoulders still. When something amuses you, keep the smile internal. When something irritates you, keep the fire internal. Over time, it becomes instinctive. You stop bleeding tells into the open air. Remember, the mask is not about hiding from the world. It's about controlling access to yourself. You are the gatekeeper. You decide who gets through, when, and under what conditions. Most will never get through at all, and that's exactly how it should be. Here's the deeper truth. People respect what they can't easily touch. The man who's too open, too easy to read, too quick to react becomes common, predictable, cheap. The man behind the mask is rare, mysterious, dangerous. His value rises because no one can place him. From now on, let this be your standard. You reveal nothing unless it benefits you directly. You keep your face and your tone consistent, whether you're winning or losing, pleased or furious. And when you do decide to reveal emotion, it's intentional, because you've chosen it as a tool, not because they forced it out of you. If you understand this, if you're ready to become unreadable, untouchable, and entirely in control, type this in the comments right now. I am the mask. Say it to own it, because once they can't read you, they can't reach you. And once they can't reach you, they can't control you. Number 7, turning insults into weapons. An insult is rarely just a random comment. It's a calculated probe, a way to measure your emotional depth, to see how quickly you can be rattled, to map the boundaries of your pride. It's not just words, it's reconnaissance. Every time someone throws one, they're looking for a weakness. The average man takes the bait, defends himself, or launches a messy counterattack. The stronger man ignores it entirely. But the Machiavellian man takes it one step further. He turns the insult into a weapon. To turn an insult into a weapon, you must first remove its sting. That means detachment. The moment you let it get under your skin, you've already surrendered control. You've let the other person dictate your emotional state. When you're emotionally hooked, you lose clarity, and clarity is the foundation of strategic dominance. Instead of reacting, you study the insult like a surgeon examines a specimen. Where was it aimed? Was it meant to embarrass you, question your competence, attack your identity, or challenge your authority? Every insult is aimed at something specific. But here's the twist. Every insult reveals more about the attacker than about you. A man will target the areas that matter most to him. If someone mocks your status, it's because they measure their worth in status. If they attack your appearance, it's because they fear being judged for their own. Their words are mirrors. You just have to know how to read them. Once you understand the psychology behind the insult, you have multiple strategic options. The subtle counter. This is where you turn their jab into a slow-burning trap. Instead of countering with force, you respond with a calm, almost curious question. Something like, "That's interesting. Why do you think that?" This does two things. It forces them to elaborate, which often exposes the weakness in their own argument, and it makes them carry the burden of justification. When someone is forced to explain an insult, it starts to lose its edge. The audience shifts from watching you defend yourself to watching them try to hold their ground. The public reversal. This move is pure display, designed for situations where others are watching. You don't respond with aggression, you respond with composure, maybe even amusement. You make it clear through your tone and posture that the insult didn't land. The crowd sees you unmoved, and that's where the shift happens. In the social hierarchy of the moment, the man who remains calm under attack is perceived as dominant. The attacker starts to look like the desperate one. Reframing. Reframing is where you take the insult and turn it into a badge of honor. If someone calls you cold, you reply, "Cold keeps me sharp." If they accuse you of being calculating, you answer, "Better to calculate than to stumble." This not only deflects the insult, it converts it into proof of your strength. It's psychological aikido. You take their force and use it to strengthen your position. Strategic silence. Sometimes the most devastating move is no move at all. Let the insult hang in the air, unanswered. No change in expression, no change in tone. This creates a vacuum, an unbearable emptiness for the attacker. They wanted a reaction. They didn't get one. That uncertainty eats at them. They start to wonder, did they miss? Did you not hear it? Or are you planning something? The mind hates unanswered questions, and that mental discomfort is a quiet victory. Delayed counterstrike. There's also the option of the delayed response. You don't fire back in the moment. You wait. You let time pass. And then, when the right opportunity arises, when the attacker is vulnerable, when the crowd has forgotten the original insult, you drop a statement or action that redefines the interaction. The delayed counterstrike is devastating because it shows you never forgot, but you waited until it suited you to respond. That's pure Machiavellian timing. The key principle in all of this is control. The man who controls the emotional tone after an insult controls the conversation. Most people think victory is in the wittiest retort. It's not. Victory is in dictating the terms of the exchange. Sometimes that means silence. Sometimes that means reversal. Sometimes it means dismantling them with questions, but it never means scrambling to justify yourself. Justification is submission. The moment you start explaining why you're not what they say you are, you've accepted their frame. You've agreed that their opinion has weight, and by doing that, you've already lost. The real power move is to stay above the frame entirely, to behave as if the insult was too insignificant to even register. Over time, this approach builds a reputation. People start to learn that attacking you is costly, not because you explode, but because you respond in ways that leave them looking weaker than when they started. They learn that your composure is unshakable and that you have the skill to reverse their attacks without ever losing control. That reputation becomes a shield. Once it's in place, fewer and fewer people will attempt to provoke you. Here's the paradox. The less reactive you are, the more devastating your responses become when you choose to deliver them. If you're known for letting most things pass, your rare counterattacks will hit harder. The scarcity of your aggression makes it more valuable, more feared. It's not about fighting every battle. It's about choosing the battles that serve your power. From this moment forward, stop viewing insults as threats. See them as opportunities. Each one is free intelligence about the person in front of you. Each one is a chance to strengthen your position. Let others waste their energy throwing stones while you collect each one and add it to your fortress. And if you truly understand this, if you're ready to turn every verbal attack into ammunition, make your declaration now. Type it in the comments so it becomes part of your identity. Your words build my walls. Say it, own it, because once you master this, nothing anyone says can hurt you. In fact, their attempts will only make you stronger. Number 8. The power of strategic absence. Absence is one of the sharpest weapons in the arsenal of power, yet most men never learn to use it. They cling to visibility, thinking influence is maintained by constant presence. They hover in every conversation, attend every event, make themselves available to everyone, believing this constant accessibility cements their value. In reality, it does the opposite. Overexposure breeds familiarity, and familiarity kills mystique. Presence is like currency. Spend it carelessly and it loses value. Spend it with precision and it multiplies in worth. Strategic absence is the art of vanishing with purpose, removing yourself at the moment when your presence is most desired, so that its value skyrockets in your absence. The absence becomes a presence in itself, one that is felt more deeply than you could ever achieve by staying in the room. Psychologically, humans adapt quickly to what is consistent. A face they see every day becomes background noise. A voice they hear constantly becomes less impactful, no matter how wise the words. But remove that face, silence that voice, pull back your energy. Suddenly, they feel the void. Questions start forming in their minds. Where did he go? Why is he silent? Has something changed? That curiosity turns into tension, and tension is one of the purest forms of power. Strategic absence works in three primary ways. 1. It creates demand. The less often someone experiences you, the more weight each encounter carries. When you are constantly available, you are a common commodity. When you are rare, you are valuable. This is why powerful figures in history, leaders, conquerors, kings, often appeared sparingly. They understood that scarcity is magnetic. People crave what they cannot have often, and when they finally do get it, they pay attention. 2. It resets power dynamics. Relationships, both personal and professional, are built on patterns. If you are always the one initiating, attending, and giving attention, you set a pattern where your presence is taken for granted. When you vanish, you break that pattern. You force others to adjust, to come to you, to wonder what caused the shift. In that wondering, you reclaim leverage. 3. It creates space for silent movement. When you're present, you're often reacting, responding to conversations, events, and demands in real time. Absence is your time to operate unseen. You gather intelligence, strengthen resources, plan your moves. While others are busy filling the space you left, you're working on the next step in your strategy without interference. The timing of absence is critical. Too soon, and it feels like retreat. Too long, and it risks erasure. The art is in disappearing at the peak of your relevance, when your words, actions, or presence are still fresh in their memory. You step back while you still have momentum, so that your absence is felt sharply rather than barely noticed. When used correctly, absence forces people to think about you more in your absence than they did in your presence. They replay past conversations. They wonder if they missed signs. They speculate on your reasons. And the more they speculate, the more you dominate their mental space without even being there. Strategic absence is also an X-ray for loyalty. Watch closely who reaches out when you go silent, who notices, who adjusts their behavior, who tries to pull you back. These reactions reveal who values you for your presence itself and who only valued what they could extract from you. The former will seek you out with respect. The latter will drift away when they realize you're no longer feeding their needs. It's vital to understand that absence is not about sulking, retreating, or avoiding conflict. This is not passive aggression. It's deliberate, tactical withdrawal. You don't announce it. You don't explain it. You don't warn anyone. You simply remove yourself. The less you justify, the stronger the statement. Explanations weaken mystery, and mystery is a core element of power. The most dangerous moves are the ones no one sees coming. Absence done right is exactly that. It hits quietly, without confrontation, yet it shifts the entire dynamic of a room, a relationship, or even a social hierarchy. You become the missing piece, the unanswered question, the unresolved tension. And in that tension, you grow more powerful. Absence also sharpens your own position. It's your time to clear the noise, to think without being pulled in a dozen directions. In presence, you're often playing defense, responding to moves as they happen. In absence, you're in pure offense, planning in silence, gathering leverage, moving unseen. A predator doesn't chase every sound in the forest. Sometimes it retreats into the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to re-emerge. When you return from absence, you must return with intent. Never drift back casually. Your reappearance should be deliberate, carrying the weight of choice. People should feel your presence hit the room like a shift in the air, different, focused, sharpened. The return is when you cash in the value you've built in your absence. Here's the hidden advantage. Strategic absence makes presence more potent. When you finally speak, your words carry more weight. When you finally appear, your movements draw more eyes. Scarcity amplifies impact. If you are seen too often, the effect dulls. If you are seen sparingly, Every appearance becomes an event. From this moment forward, stop giving your time and attention away like a man scattering coins into the street. Make your presence a choice, not a default. Step back when the moment is right, without hesitation and without warning. Let others feel the weight of your absence, and let that silence do more work than your constant presence ever could. Strategic absence will make some people uncomfortable. It will make others anxious, and the most insecure will resent it. That's fine. Discomfort, anxiety, and resentment are signs that your absence is doing its job. Those who respect you will respect it more. Those who don't respect you will reveal themselves. Either way, you win. If you truly grasp the power in this, claim it now. Declare it publicly so it becomes part of you. I control my presence. Let it remind you that absence is not a weakness. It's a choice. And the man who controls his presence controls the entire game. Number 9, the final law of untouchability. Untouchability is not about avoiding conflict. It's about being unmovable within it. Every law before this has been a piece of armor, a weapon, or a shield. Now they merge into one unshakable identity. You are no longer a man who simply stays calm under pressure. You are a man who sets the pressure. You decide when the game begins, how it plays, and when it ends. The final law is this: nothing external has the right to dictate your internal state. Not insults, not manipulation, not provocation, not approval, not even admiration. You own your emotional sovereignty completely, and in that ownership, you own the people who try to move you. This law turns you into something most will never encounter, a man who is immune. Your stillness is not passive, it's loaded with choice. Your patience is not inaction, it's precision. Your silence is not emptiness, it's control. When you do move, it's not reaction, it's execution. The world will sense this. Some will respect it, some will fear it, many will resent it, but all will feel it. People will treat you differently because they know there's no easy way to get to you. You are not swayed by moods, not bribed by flattery, not rattled by hostility. They will learn quickly that the only way to win with you is to play on your terms. From this day forward, you don't just walk into a room, you shift its gravity. You don't just answer questions, you control conversations. You don't just respond to challenges, you decide which challenges are worth acknowledging at all. And the rest, you erase with indifference. Write this law into your mind until it's instinct. Nothing moves me unless I allow it. Let it become the filter for every action, every decision, every reaction. It is the last and most powerful shield you will ever need. If you're ready to carry this into your life, if you're ready to live untouchable, then declare it in the comments now. Nothing moves me. Say it with conviction. Let it be the final seal on your transformation. And if this has shifted something in you, don't stop here. You've built the armor. Now it's time to learn how to use it offensively. Watch the next video where I reveal the predator's social blueprint, the step-by-step guide to making every room, every interaction, and every person bend in your favor. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you there.